Alright, battlers, let's get into episode 2 of our Sinister Cup Battles. We're facing off against Church. I open with a Alolan Marowak. He opens with a Bubble Poliwrath. I decide to switch here into Empoleon. He goes into Haunter. Those waterfalls from Empoleon are doing so much neutral damage. We're able to tank that Shadow Punch, and 2 more waterfalls bring down the Haunter. I have a charge move almost ready to go, but he brings in the Poliwrath. I'm not going to use a shield here on Empoleon because it's already so weak. He is using a Bubble Poliwrath, so that makes it problematic for my team. I think no matter what team composition you run in Sinister Cup, you need to consider a Poliwrath counter in your group of 3. He's going to use a few more bubbles here and then a power-up punch against Alolan Marowak. Those bubbles are really starting to hurt though. I'm trying to get to a charge move, but I don't quite make it. I do decide to burn his shield here and try to go for the Shadow Ball to bring down Poliwrath. Let's see if we do. He decides to shield. He knows that his Poliwrath is a good answer for my team, because if I didn't bring out a counter before, that means I don't have anything good for him now. So I am going to fire off a few more Dragon Tails here, but this match is pretty much a lost cause. Church destroys us here with his Bubble Poliwrath. Kicking off round 2, I decide to open with Alolan Raichu. He opens with Lugia. Recognizing that this is a favorable matchup for me, he does bail out into Steelix. However, I have a good answer in Blaziken. Blaziken is a spice pick for the Sinister Cup. It does have some good moves against the Steel-type walls. However, because it is a Fire type, it does struggle against Poliwrath, which I think you're going to see a lot. I fire off the Blaze Kick here to take down the Steelix. In comes Lugia. I'm trying to get to the Blast Burn here, and we do. Let's see if Church uses a shield. He does protect his Lugia with a shield. That's okay for me because I do have that excellent counter for Lugia in my Alolan Raichu. I decide to go in here with Bronzong to see how he reacts. Expecting the Hydro Pump, I do shield, but it's just the Sky Attack. I try to make the swap here into Raichu, and this is a colossal mistake. He fires off the Hydro Pump against Alolan Raichu. However, I'm able to get to this Wild Charge at the last second, and we do so much damage to this Lugia that we bring it down. In comes Poliwrath, and this is an interesting matchup. I do have a lot of health, and his Poliwrath is not ramped up yet. I'm going to fire off this Psyshock here from Bronzong, and he does shield it. He knows he's got to get his Poliwrath powered up in order to bring me down. However, I think I'm able to get to the Psyshock first. We're going to absorb one more power-up punch from this Poliwrath. It doesn't quite bring us down, and we fire off the Psyshock to destroy his Poliwrath. Opening round 3, we run with Claydol. He's going to bring in Steelix. Claydol is an interesting pick for the Sinister Cup. It does have that Earth Power move, and mine is running Extra Sensory. I know a lot of trainers like Confusion. I decide not to shield that Crunch just to see how much damage it does, and it's pretty effective. I farm up a little more energy because those Dragon Tails aren't doing much at all, and I fire off the Earth Power. I am going to shield here against this Steelix's Crunch because I know I can't survive a second one, and I'm going to get to a second Earth Power. Let's see if he shields it or not. He does decide to double shield the Steelix, which is a very interesting strategy. He bails out into a Alolan Marowak and brings down our Claydol. I'm going to switch here into Xatu. Xatu is an interesting pick for the Sinister Cup as well because it does have the capability of learning Shadow Ball and Ominous Wind, much like Drifblim. I'm going to shield this Shadow Ball, and because he is without shields, I feel very comfortable with my Ominous Wind. However, it doesn't do quite enough damage, and that Alolan Marowak survives. It actually gets off another charge attack against us, which is Shadow Ball, and our Xatu goes down. I do decide to bring in Blaziken. Shields are down. It's Blaziken against both of his Pokemon, and he does have a Steelix with a ton of energy. He fires off the Earthquake and one-shots our Blaziken. We're going to jump right here into round 4. I open with Alolan Raichu. He opens with Frostlass. Frostlass is an excellent generalist in Freestyle. I can't wait to see trainers use it in Sinister. I am going to use the swirling technique for those Thunder type attacks, and I'm not going to get all the bubbles. I do decide to shield the Avalanche here, and I'm going to go for this Thunder Punch. Frostlass does shield that, and I make a fast swap into Empoleon. I'm going to absorb this Avalanche, no problem at all. Empoleon is so tanky. A few more waterfalls, and we bring down the Frostlass. I'm awaiting what he's going to bring in, and it is Poliwrath. This is not a good situation for me. I'm going to try to get as much neutral damage as I can, but I'm not going to spend shields on this Empoleon. We're actually able to get here to our Steel-type attack, which is Flash Cannon. It does land and do a decent amount to Poliwrath, but this is still anybody's game. He's going to fire off another charge move here. Recognizing that I need to protect my Raichu, I do shield. In comes Alolan Marowak, and I switch. He does have a shield though, so my best hope is to try to draw a shield out of him. However, he's going to fire off the Shadow Ball and one-shot our Marowak. Guys, Sinister Cup is going to be a Shadow Ball fest. You're going to see Shadow Balls flying in every direction. The key is going to be surviving to the end of the match with a charge move and a shield. He does fire off the Bone Club to take down our Raichu and wins round 4. Jumping right into round 5, I decide to open with Banette. Banette's an interesting pick. It has Shadow Claw. Mine is running Thunder and Dazzling Gleam. He does bring in the Poliwrath, and I bail out into Alolan Raichu. He does use the power-up punch against me. Alolan Raichu is a viable pick in the Sinister Cup for a number of reasons. Obviously, you're going to be facing Poliwrath. You're also going to be facing flying types like Drifblim and Lugia. So definitely keep Alolan Raichu in mind, and don't be discouraged by its bulk. If you give it a shield or two, it can be an awesome part of your team. He does fire off an attack there and take down my Raichu. I have a couple of options here. I decide to go with Empoleon. My switch clock is ready though, and he is switch locked into Lugia. I'm trying to get a little more energy together before I fire off a charge move. I do decide to shield the Sky Attack. In comes the Dazzling Gleam. I'm okay using this move because Lugia is part Psychic. I'm trying to get to a second charge move, but Banette charges pretty slow for having Shadow Claw, I will admit. He's going to fire off a charge move. No matter what it is, I can tank it, even the Hydro Pump. I'm feeling pretty good about this matchup because I think I can do enough damage with my fast moves to bring down the Marowak. I do shield this Bone Club here, and one more Waterfall does the trick. Going into the final round of our best of 5, I'm going to open here with Blaziken. He opens with Poliwrath. This is what I mentioned earlier. When you run into that bubble Poliwrath, Blaziken is not an ideal pick. I'm going to fire off a Wild Charge against the Execute here. It does land, taking a little less than half of its health. It is going to use a charge move against me. I'm going to bank on this Raichu though. I need it around for that Poliwrath, so I use a few more sparks here. I'm going to fire off another Wild Charge in an attempt to bring down this Execute, but he shields. That does throw a little wrench in my plans. I'm going to shield this Ancient Power as well. Trying to get all the bubbles here with our Thunder Punch. He double shields the the Executor. He does bring in a Alolan Marowak, and I have a great answer in Steelix. When the shields are down, guys, Steelix is an immense force in the Sinister Cup. As anything with a Shadow Ball, Steelix has the same kind of nuking power with the Earthquake. I decide to go for the Crunches here to see how well it does against Marowak. We're just testing some things out, still very early. We survive that Shadow Ball luckily and get to another Crunch. That Crunch is going to be enough to bring down Alolan Marowak, and I'm awaiting what he brings in next. It is Poliwrath. He gets a couple of bubbles in there, and he's actually able to get to a charge move, and I don't have a shield. My Alolan Raichu falls, and it's Blaziken versus a amped up Poliwrath, and this is not good for me. Church is going to take this round and beat me in round 5. Sinister Cup is awesome. Guys, more videos are on the way. If you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.